Welcome back to G Brands, brought to you by Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman has a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. I'm Andy Rowe, and as usual, I'm joined by All Blacks legend Justin Marshall, Wallaby winner Jeremy Poole. We are hoping to have James O'Connor on the show later. Rabs is currently on a plane back to England and may pop up at any time during the show through his business class Wi-Fi. If it was Joe Schmidt's choice, though, we would maybe get him on for the last 2 minutes of the podcast, where the podcast was pretty much fucking over. What was with that?
I don't think he'd come on anyway after you gave him a spray last week, and then it went viral. He's probably got the shits with you. Have you actually spoken to him since?
I haven't actually. I was hoping that he wouldn't have seen it.
Did he give you the basil brush for a few days, or?
Well, I've saw on the group chat that he saw
No,
it.
he loved it. No, he loved it, man. He was the first one to slam himself. That's what you love about Rabs, right? Like he's as honest as they come. Like, and he, there's a couple of things obviously about that Wallaby game, but yeah, that's definitely a head scratcher. Like I don't understand.
I was
why he didn't
fuming.
start.
I was fuming watching that. It's like, where is Rabs? Like, why wouldn't you bring him on? Like, and at least give him 10 minutes.
Well,
Like,
especially when they're needing to chase the game. You know, when the All Blacks got ahead and then went ahead by more than 7 after kicking that penalty goal from McKenzie, then I think it was like, right, we've got to change the picture here. Even if he comes on at fullback, they switch Jorgensen to the wing, and still Edmed stays on. You got dual pivot. You know, you can start showing the All Blacks something different defensively with your attack, but they just didn't bring him on till too late.
I sent a photo in the group chat, right? Like it was the 68th minute where it was 14-20.
Yeah.
And I said, come on, Rabs. I bet you he kicks the winning goal. Like, try conversion from the sideline.
It felt like that, eh?
Yeah, I thought it's all set up for the man, right? Like, who's been doing this all year too, right? Like, and I thought, look, we needed an injection of someone fresh as well. Look, I thought, there's a number of things. And for starters, you can't play a quarter of the game with 14 men, which will go.
Not against the number one team.
Oh,
in the
no,
world.
quality side, right?
Yeah. So
absolutely.
if you want to compete against the best 2 teams in the world, South Africa and New Zealand, you cannot do it with 14 men.
Yeah, you're disciplined, right?
Like you've got to have good discipline.
Correct. And I thought, look, the Tom Hooper, I thought, I understand coming from the side and they're trying to protect players' lower limbs. I get that. Where was the same sort of decision with the Tate McDermott point of view?
Well, yeah, exactly.
As well as
The week before, so to clarify that, Tate
McDermott
did get cleaned out of a ruck, post the ruck, and he had a player's body weight going through him. So, you know, it's a similar situation, not exactly the same, but it's similar. So if they're trying to extricate it from the game, which this is World Rugby, got to be consistent. And at the end of the day, Geordie Barrett, he didn't suffer any injury, but Tate McDermott's season is over.
Season gone, right?
It's like, well, you know, if you're going to do it for one, you've got to do it for the other. And don't get me wrong, I gave the officials a bit of a spray on TV because I just didn't agree with it. Like I understand what they're trying to do in terms of get it out of the game, but to me, that was just clumsy.
Yeah.
I don't think if you said to Hooper again, go do that, he couldn't do it again if he tried. And it was the way that Geordie Barrett stayed in the fight. And then they tried to call it a croc roll. It wasn't a croc roll.
It's just the fact that he came from that point of view, right? And then
From the angle.
Correct. And
But then when Geordie stayed in the fight and he just pushed forward, and then Geordie finally buckled, but Hooper was already falling, so he just landed on him.
Yeah.
But he landed on his leg, but not on purpose, man.
Not on purpose. And you could say the same thing about the Laniki Tau. Like, that's another thing. Like, and Moody as well over in the South African Pumas game, right? That head-to-head contact where are you meant to put your head?
Yeah.
And I get we're trying to obviously, protect the head, but then 2 times in the South African and Puma game, the referee, you can hear the referee in the mic going, play on, player was dropping 2. You could see 2 high shots, mate. Like, so here we are.
But Len Ikatel was upright.
I know, but you could see it was.
So
but
it's
he
on
got
him.
stepped.
Yeah, but it was a split decision, correct?
He was anticipating to hit him with I think it was his right shoulder. possibly, whichever shoulder it was, because I can't quite. I just remembered at the time, and he got done by the footwork, and it made him just sort of like do that, like come up, and then because of that, you know, and then the momentum of the attacker going towards him, they just clashed heads. He came off second best. He wore it right in the chin bone.
He got
not the chin bone, the cheekbone. Sorry.
There's a word that the referees use, though, isn't there? There's a word that referees use. I've forgotten what it is, but when something like that happens, when someone gets stepped, or when there's like sort of dynamic movement and head
Mitigation.
Mitigation. That could be it. I think there's another word I'm thinking of. But
so when they go over the whole scenario to whether or not they upgrade it as well from a yellow to a red, or even when they go and see if it meets yellow card threshold, they talk about what has mitigated. Or could drop it down, or and completely, obviously, just be a penalty. And there was no, how I sort of saw it, they never looked at that, like Glenn Nikitau situation as it being an accident. And for me, man, that was not as pivotal as the Tom Hooper, because Alan Alatoa just scored a try, right? And can I just say, firstly, though, very quickly, mate, to the All Blacks and the Wallabies, like, incredible hands in and the ball handling in such awful conditions. Like the intent from the Wallabies at the start with that ball movement. Wow. Like I was just going, oh, we're on here, boys. And then when Alan Alatoa scored, I was thinking, wow.
It was a huge moment in the game.
Big moment.
And I want to sort of categorically say, like I would call that for any team. If it happened to the All Blacks and it was an All Black player that done that to an Australian player, I would be saying the same thing. I don't think that's right. If it's an English
You don't
player,
think it was a yellow card?
Yeah, I'm not just...
Which one are we talking about? Hooper.
The Hooper one. I'm not just saying it because it feels like it's like I'm All Black bashing, saying, oh, they always get the rub of the green. 100% not. I'm just seeing it as a former player and trying to understand how that deserves for the game to be affected, when I feel there was just a whole lot of mitigation within it, and there was equally a lot of clumsiness and awkwardness that you could never ever replicate again. And it's like, but Australia have to suffer for 10 minutes because of something a player didn't intentionally do. He didn't intend to do that. You could tell he didn't intend to do it. In fact, nobody really even was aware of what was going on. It was only the TMO that saw it. Well, we can't moan about the refs.
No, correct.
For the officials for the entire pod. But hey, I just want to ask you how you're feeling.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Because you did say at the start of this year about not only bringing the Bledisloe Cup home, but you also said if we can win one of the Bledisloes, the one in Perth, you know, maybe one against South Africa and both the Argentinian ones, which you didn't do.
No.
You didn't win the Bledisloe. You didn't win in Perth. How you feeling, mate? Are you okay?
Yeah, look, not as a bit disappointing, as Harry Wilson also said, right? Like he you know, they're disappointed, mate, like to not have finished off the Rugby Championship how they started, and have to agree with them there, man, because there was a lot of momentum coming back from South Africa. You know, winning in Joburg, having the world champs and this incredible Springbok side scratching their heads, go to Cape Town. In that game too, I think Tom Wright being injured in the very first 4 to 7 minutes or something like that, I think that impacted. I just love the resilience though this side has continually showed. Like I think we've been the only team in the whole Rugby Championship that hasn't been flogged, and we've been in the game for the whole 80 minutes. Like we've given ourselves a chance, like, and had no right, like, to have a chance, like, you know, like in the last 2 Bledisloes, like even when it was 14-20, look, huge miss by obviously Edmund. Take it to 2016, because then it allowed the All Blacks, right, to take a penalty shot to get past that 7-point buffer. But
well, it hit the post though, it wasn't a bad.
Oh no, correct,
bad,
look,
was
correct.
It? But yeah,
no, 100%.
It's significant.
It's those really clutch moments. But look, overall, like in terms of, was it a successful season? No, because they still have to win. But in terms of did we improve and keep that progression going? Oh, absolutely. Like, we have suffered some injuries and tested our depth, like using our 4th halfback, like we're down to our 4th 5'8", like in Tane Edmund, like 2 incredibly important positions, right?
Oh, and fullback too.
And fullback as well. Yeah, we had Tom Wright, Andrew Callaway. Jorgensen. Oh, mate, look, he's not...
I know he has played fullback in his younger days, but he hasn't played any international games at fullback. So like you say, you lose basically your spine.
Yeah.
Your 9s, your 10, and your 15.
Man, 100%. Look, and I think for Jorgensen, looking for any fullback, look, looking at the NRL Grand Final with the Broncos and Storm. And
Broncos!
Yes, Broncos. Yes. Great multi there, Reece Walsh. So watching Reece Walsh, right, not only did he was a part of every try in terms of try assists and score, arguably one of the great Grand Final tries of all time, he saved 4. Like, I think he'd be more remembered in that Grand Final for the 4 he saved, particularly that tackle, that last tackle on Pappenhausen, man, right? Like, in the 78th minute or something like that. And I've always said this, fullbacks, like, it's not how many tries you score, it's how many you save. Because you can have an off day with respects to attack, but if you're saving those points, because again, man, you can't lose a game if they're at 0, right? Like, it's like...
How good was Teddy Swims in the NRL Grand Final?
Oh, Teddy Swims. Well, let me tell you a quick story about Teddy
So I didn't see the pre-game because I was in the depth of little creatures at Fremantle. To be perfectly honest, I had to go out there and shoot a little thing for breakdown. I was like, I smell a long lunch here. And then made it to the airport in time to sit down with 10 minutes to go. But I heard Teddy Swims was pretty special.
Oh, mate, he was incredible. Like, what entertainment. But so when flying over here to New Zealand, right? Like, so...
today?
Well, today, yeah. I don't have any luggage, obviously, because I only stayed like just overnight. And so I quickly go straight through, express through. And obviously he's a VIP. So Teddy Swims was actually here in Christchurch. So
has he come to New Zealand?
Come to New Zealand. And so we're actually going next to each other. And I'm like, bro, you killed it on the NRL final. Like, here I am, a little bandit.
You were being a bandit today.
Oh, mate, I was 100%. I was the biggest bandito you've ever seen. Like, I was like straight up to Teddy Swims, his arm around me. Like, I'm like,
hang on.
Mate, he's like, thanks, bro. Like, he's like this one. He's like, I'm like this. Classic though, nearly 50-year-old, right? Like, normally at this day and age, you're straight out with the phone and like, can we take a selfie? But I even forgot I had my phone on me to take a photo. But
You didn't get a selfie?
Nah, man. Like, what a lovely guy. Like, he was just, and he liked his rugby league too. He was like, what about the women's game? Great day to be a Broncos fan like this one. Like, he obviously stayed for both games. But as I said goodbye to Teddy, said, thanks, Rain Man.
Oh.
Mate, no,
Love the show. Love the show, Rain Man.
No, actually.
It is time for this week's Harvey Norman Next Gen Moment of the Week. Harvey Norman has the latest in AI PCs from Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. And this week, we're talking about personalization and adaptability.
Yeah, we certainly are. And I think personalisation, obviously, you can look at somebody that I guess is part of a team and is part of a culture, but then has the opportunity to get some game time, but has to show adaptability because they have to switch positions. And that's what Quinn Tupaia did.
Oh,
So it's not like, okay, mate, you're part of the side. It's your turn. Go out there in your jumper and play. It's like, okay, mate, we're putting you out there, but we're playing you at centre, which you don't usually play. So his ability to adapt and go out there and play in a different shirt, which is hard because defensively, particularly at centre, it's a lot different defending in that channel than what it is at 12. And he went out there, the way that he played, he carried, he scored 2 tries. You know, he had, and in fact, he was part of 3 tries. Because his carry off the line out of Cam Roygaard, he got just short of the line. Then Leroy Carter picked it up and then dived over. Yep. And then the genius. We want to talk about adaptability again. His second try, when Geordie Barrett basically falcons the ball. The ball.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't just a little small falcon. It came right off the middle of his forehead and went about 5 metres. And Quinn Tupaia went, you know what he said in his after-game interview? He said, basically, he said that's come off his hongy.
Straight off the nose.
Straight off the nose. So he just followed it up, stayed in the fight, scored that try, and then later in the game, when the All Blacks really needed to surge ahead, Quinn Tupaia stepped up again, powered on through off a nice sweeping move from line out. 2 tries, set up the other one. Outstanding performance, Quinn Tupaia.
Personalisation and adaptability, just like your next-gen AI PC, which adapts to how you use it. At 45 trillion operations per second, it learns your habits and tailors your experience to keep it flowing. For a smarter way to work and play, head into your local Harvey Norman and meet your match. Do you reckon Quinn Tupaia is now our starting 13 for the All Blacks, or is Billy Proctor still the number 1 guy and he was just having a rest?
Yeah, well, I actually threw that out there because there's going to be some now discussion around selections because Scott Robertson made some changes for this particular test match. And the changes that he made, those players all performed. So Lester Fainganuku came in the wing.
Outstanding.
And he just showed, didn't he show his power and his ability to break tackles. And on a wet night,
outstanding.
Never easy, but, he looked every part of an All Black winger, didn't he? And then equally Tobias switching into the midfield, carried, broke tackles, defended incredibly well, turned and chased and didn't miss a beat. Then you throw into the mix Peter Lakai as well, came in at number 8 for Wallace Satiti. So you've got some pretty significant changes in there. The front rowers as well. To Mighty Williams, how big was the big man?
I want to talk about the front rowers shortly.
Oh, my goodness.
So look, you've got all of those players that have come in for incumbents who will be back in the mix. And Bowden Barrett will be back in the mix. Damien McKenzie didn't put a foot wrong for the test against Ireland and Chicago. So where does Scott Robertson go from here? Did he like what he saw out there enough to go, righto, I've got some really tough decisions.
Let's talk about Quinn Tupaia first. Does he stay there?
Yeah. Look, for me, firstly, selection policy, right? Sorry, man, you come off a good win, you score 2 tries, you should keep your spot, 13, right? You would,
you know what the bizarre thing was too, when they took him off?
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah.
Real early in the 55th minute or something.
But look, the other thing is too, why I like Quinton Tupaia at 13 as well now is because what I realised is when Geordie Barrett goes back in defence for those high bombs, so just in case there is a quick turnover, you've got an outside centre playing inside centre, right? Who can actually do those options. So that's what I actually don't mind, man, because Geordie Barrett is the best person back there to diffuse any high ball. He has arguably been the best aerial competitor or whatever it is, taker, whatever you might call it.
Do you remember that?
Every bomb.
Well said. Do you remember that stage in the game where it was him and Joseph
Suaalii?
Yeah. That was a massive moment in the test.
Massive, mate. I actually thought
Suaalii was there and he was up in the air.
It's like Geordie Barrett stole it from him out of the air, right? Mate, he was
because if he doesn't execute that,
correct.
There was no one else behind Geordie Barrett.
Correct.
So if Suaalii wins that contest in the air, he scores.
But that's where we haven't exploited that too from a Wallaby point of view, right? We haven't used that enough. But I think very smartly what they've done, because normally you're seeing 10s back there, right? For some reason, and I get it, having 10s
McKenzie was back there a lot
because they're good kickers, right? So obviously but having Geordie Barrett back there to diffuse those bombs, I thought was instrumental with respects to when you guys.
The Wallabies have had Suaalii on the wing a bit.
And so they moved him back, right? So after the issues when we had Tom Liner during the lines, we had, and then we had, I think even Rabs has gone back there as well. It's such a big part of the game now, man. The aerial battle, because we've discussed this now, because there's no more blocking those runners. They've got to have a clear run. And we even saw, that's actually why the Pumas stayed in the game, to be honest, against the Boks, was they were able to diffuse a lot of the high ball. And they were able to actually get some type of pay going forward as well. So, big, huge part. Look, I think from a selection point of view, you've got to be, you've got to reward players, man. Mate, Quinton Tupaia scored 2 tries. He was rock solid in defence.
He was hard to tackle.
Mate, you've got to give him a start in Chicago.
I think they do.
You can't, mate. You cannot. How can you go from scoring 2 tries and stuff? And I think bringing in Leicester though too was a stroke of genius on the wing as well, because it could have been very. I mean, for Razor, right? He could have easily put him at outside centre, like we sort of thought. But I thought actually having him on the wing. It fixed a lot of wing issues, but at the end of the day, you look at Leroy Carter too, man. Here is a guy, I think he represents where the All Blacks, guys bringing guys in, right, for their first test. Yeah. He's now locked that jersey down. He's almost like one of the first picked, right, in that back line.
Yeah, he's just so solid, isn't he?
Mate, he scored. He gets in there and does work. He's rock solid in defence.
And again, he's got the advantage of he knows Quinn Tupaia quite well. He plays with them at the Chiefs, so their working together wasn't difficult. Their synergy was really good. Yeah, I would have thought because of the 2 test matches that he's played, one off the bench and then the one that he got to start, against Australia, he's probably done enough to just say to Scott Robertson, that's kind of the punch we want in the midfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got that 1-2 punch, like you said, with Geordie Barrett.
Yep.
And then you've got that power on the wing, whether it's Caleb Clark or Whainganuku, and then the solidity of Leroy Carter. Like, man, he just doesn't seem to do anything wrong.
And also, do you think like it was a coincidence that Damien McKenzie had his best game at 10 when Quinton Tapai's there, as well? So even though he wasn't inside centre with him, but in defence he was.
Yeah.
Right? He was defending with him. So that confidence being with someone that knows his understanding, particularly on that counter-attack, or if any sort of options became available for them. So, mate, look, it's a good headache to have, right? Like from a selection, because where you've like literally a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier, you're like struggling for selections. But look, to finish off with the Wallabies, look, 29 missed tackles. Not too many. It was 14 all in the penalty count, but it was just those critical penalties with regards to yellow cards. Look, again, injuries plagued us. We saw Fraser McWright go off and Dungunu go into 7. Rabs actually finally get on. Look, just to finish that, like with regards to Rabs, look, I can see half full type of answer here with Joe Schmidt. I mean, you just got to admire this man immensely, right? Like 2 people I want to quickly talk about. Joe Schmidt, who's leaving now, like obviously.
Is he done?
No, he's actually staying on.
Wow, look, that's changed.
I know it's changed. Yeah, it has changed.
Until when?
But he's staying on for the end of year tour.
Because, man, this guy, look, how admirable, really. Like, you, like the 3 of us, we would instantly choose Rat, like as 10, right? Like, we wouldn't give a fuck about
10
the future.
and captain.
Yeah. We wouldn't care about the future,
don't try
right?
and raise him up now.
Now
Love you,
you're
Rabs.
besties. But look, how admirable by Joe Smith to start like Tane Edmund and to stick with him. And this is, but he's shown this in the last 2 years with those 17 debutants last year. And to still think of Rugby Australia going forward for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. I just find this man remarkable, man, Joe Schmidt, and what he's done for Australian rugby, but just how he's held himself as an individual and him as a coach. And wow, he'll go down, I believe, as one of the most instrumental coaches in the history of Wallaby rugby. Like
in rugby, I think you could almost because what he did for Ireland as well.
Oh, correct.
He took them from
correct, right? Like
to number 1 in the world.
Cool, man. Back to Chicago. What about this? And look, and last thing is James Slipper. Retired. I know we've spoken many times about James Slipper, mate. To play 151 tests. You literally will not be able to bend over in about 4 or 5 years or turn around without turning your whole body because your neck and back will be stuffed. But 151 tests in the front row. How crazy. Started his first test in Perth. Yeah. Retired in his last test in Perth. Just been an absolute stalwart for Australian rugby.
Mm-hmm. While we're talking about props, the All Black props for me, and I'm not a big prop expert or anything like that. Yeah. They stood out. You had Tamati Williams, who ended Will Skelton. Then you had Fletcher Newell, who made 18 tackles. And then George Bauer comes on and scores his first ever professional try since he debuted in 2014 in professional rugby.
First and foremost, right, in Test rugby, you have to have a strong scrum. And I just thought Tamati Williams, there was a far greater leap in that game. Now it's obviously down to him to be consistent and stay at that level. But no, you're right, Andy. I thought the front row, tight 5 actually in particular, I thought Scotty Barrett stood up as well. But
the scrum was a weapon for the All Blacks again. Hasn't been a problem for the Wallabies throughout the entire Rugby Championship, even against South Africa, to a degree. And it wasn't a problem at Eden Park. So why was it a problem at the weekend? The All Blacks dominated
we didn't have our
that
best
area.
scrummager. We didn't have our best scrummager start. Like Alan Alatoa started. So Talanea Tupu is our best scrummager. Alan Alatoa, in terms of our most mobile tight head around the field, is leaps and bounds in front of any tight head in Australia. So take that first game in the Rugby Championship last year in Suncorp, man, when we got beat 33-5, I think it was. We had 6 scrum penalties against us. And I remember rocking up on the pod saying, Alan Alatoa is the first picked in my squad every single time, even after that performance, because he is a guy that would go straight to this young side and go, boys, all on me. I'm going to work my ass off this week to make it better. And what I saw this year was Alan Alatoa's Super Rugby form with regards to his scrummaging. He's always scrummaged incredibly sound in Super Rugby, but unfortunately for him, he's never translated that into Test footy. It's like, mate, everyone, when they this mercurial player, Damon McKenzie, potentially is very similar, right? Super Rugby, wow.
Good
Test
example.
level. But Alan Alatoa this year
Good from Rainman.
Yeah, it's good from Rainman.
Alan Alatoa this year actually did, like when he was playing. Then he got that little shoulder injury, which stepped him back a bit. And I just felt, I thought that was another sort of contentious sort of selection.
Yeah, it makes me go, why?
Correct.
Why did they do that?
Hold the scrum first, man.
Yeah, just, if you're worrying about the scrum from the first minute, then that's a problem for the entire game because it affects your game plan.
Mate,
but if you're only having to worry for the last 20 minutes, then
Correct.
you might already be ahead by then.
Yeah,
and the game's it's in a completely different space. And I actually thought, mate, the Tongan Thor, man, he carried real well when he came on. Like,
mate,
he was explosive.
No, look, I named him in my British and Irish line because that was the reasoning, because he's our best scrummager.
Not because he's Australian.
Oh, no, it's just our. It's just our best scrummager. If you're set piece, we also struggled set piece. We did lose 4 lineouts as well.
What happened to your line out?
Oh, mate, did you not see that rain coming? Do you know how slippery it is to throw the ball?
They're giving them a towel to dry the ball.
Well, you don't think it's still fucking raining? Like after you dry. But look, no, but that's the other point. You asked me about Lucan.
Hold the ball underneath your chin bone.
Chin bone.
Keep it dry before you can throw it
chin
in.
bone connected to your knee. But no, so you actually asked me about Lucan, right? Like, and I was like, I said, well, how I sort of see it is that Will Skilton, very similar, dominant physical players, but Jeremy Williams you keep because of that defensive line-out pressure. And Nick Frost, we did, again, put pressure, but we didn't win as many as we had in previous games, right? Because, mate, that ability, again, when we're talking about scrum or line-out to disrupt that first phase ball, then it's going to put you in good stead to win a game. Look, but you also can't miss 29 tackles, mate. Like, we missed 29 tackles. Like, that's just too much. Like, in those 2 yellow cards, but so much to work with. Great improvement. I think still a tick for me.
An absolute revelation. That's the longest we've ever spoken on G Brand's pod about Type 5 and front rows.
But also the Wallabies. I've tried to change the subject.
I keep coming back.
I've tried to change the subject like 3 times. Can we talk about South Africa?
Yes. Yeah, mate.
They obviously finished first equal in the tournament this year. They had the game wrapped up, 2-point win over Argentina, but impressive.
Yeah, look, absolutely. First of all, did you see the scenes at Twickenham when the Springboks arrived? It was incredible.
I saw the scenes the day after with Rassie sitting down with the trophy.
Yeah, I saw that as well. But
what a coach. Rassie, you legend.
Great coach. But no, honestly, check it out. There's heaps of social media clips out there. The amount of South Africans standing for that walk into Twickenham. You've done that walk.
Yeah.
Because people were like, why are they taking the game outside of South Africa,
Well, it's Argentinians' game, though.
Because they fooled this, they would have done a collab to say, righto.
So they got a bit of coin.
Yeah, exactly. So they would have shared the profits. Argentina might have got 60%, South Africa 40%, since it's supposed to be their home, whatever it might have been. But it was just incredible to see how, and it was completely South Africans, and the Springboks are walking through, and it could have been Alice Park, could have been anywhere in South Africa. So
really?
First of all, that was fascinating to me,
nuts.
but not surprising. Like, not surprising. They have such a following. Anywhere in the world that you go, their fans are amazing supporters of them.
And they start wearing the jersey the week of.
Oh, mate.
The week of the test match.
Mate, they do. They gobble them up early in the week, and they are strutting around in that jersey. And then, on test match day, if it's a night game, mate, they're on the brandy and cokes at 9 in the morning with their armour on. So they got the jerseys and the scarves on. And how they actually see the game is a miracle.
Mate, we have to do, I think, for our South African listeners, I think we got to do a brandy and coke challenge, because there's a lot of that going around.
That's the best idea you've ever come up with.
Brandy too.
What do you think is my only best?
Brandy. My brandy.
Your
yes.
brandy. Have you got brandy?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's it called?
Brandy.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'll bring a bottle in.
Yeah, in the autumn tests,
2
when
bottles.
we come back, we'll go. Let's do this brandy challenge.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able, because Man, I'm such a big fan of the Boks. Like the way that they can switch up, the way they can take out 450 caps, and like Jesse Krill was on the bench.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? The only thing about it though, like with the Springboks, is there's still a slight bit of envy that every team must have, that they can do that and be so good, and you're wanting your own team to be at that level.
Let's not be totally full of praise. We can still fire some bullets here, lads.
Oh no, still are.
Fire some
still
bullets,
are.
Marshy.
No, still are.
Because look, at the end of the day, they lost to Australia at Ellis Park.
You know it.
And they lost to the All Blacks at Eden Park. So they are not.
They ain't that good.
But then they smacked you by 43 the following week. And
hang on a bit. Where were you on the Rugby Championship ladder again?
Oh, no, correct. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. No, you're 100%.
But anyway, so they are not invincible. And they do have some vulnerability, but then again, they can change the dynamic completely. Like the side that played at Eden Park that got beaten was similar to the side that got beaten at Ellis Park.
Correct.
And then there's this ability to flip it and all of a sudden just change it. That move from Rassie before the All Blacks test match to go, righto, 11 players and fuck yeah, I'm naming my team on a Monday. Yeah, do all the prep you want. I don't give a shit.
The audacity, man. I
know. It's like...
What about having a coach, right? What about having a coach? Like, you just don't know what he's thinking, but like you are just so blinded by how much you'll follow this man into the depths of the unknown. Like, he has every player will follow him over a cliff. If he goes, walk over this cliff, I promise you, you're going to be safe. They will blindly, they will blindly run off that cliff. Like to have a coach like, and Marshy, you've had some coaches in your time, and like obviously, my biggest one, the old champ, Eddie Jones.
Yeah. You run off a cliff for Eddie Jones?
Well, no, back in the day I would have, 100%. Because all
was
you wanted
yours,
to
Marshy,
do,
John Hart?
all you wanted to do.
You're such a smart ass. I'll tell you what.
Was walk off the field.
Are growing.
It's a couple of beers. Confidence is up.
You wanted to walk off the field, and all you wanted was Eddie Jones to turn to you and go, well played.
Yeah. Well played.
Well played. Nothing else.
No.
Just well played. And I feel like, and I know what that was like, that father, like sort of son relationship. And actually some of the great coaches of all time, the Craig Bellamy's of NRL and Wayne Bennett's, like, you know, talking to guys like Wendell and stuff about like the Wayne Bennett's, that father-son type of relationship where you have this coach where you will just follow every single word he says.
And trust.
You
know, like, trust is a big one because players have got to trust when they're not being selected that it's for the better of the team. And that's a real hard thing to be able to have players have total faith in, and he's got that. Like, what was significant to me was, again, like, I know we'll talk about this Argentinian test and South Africa's Rugby Championship success, which they deserved. But was off the back of what you're saying. We interviewed, I think it was 4 South Africans after that test match live in Wellington. And yes, they'd won significantly. Every single one of them complimented the coach.
Back to Rassie, yep.
They said, you know,
I saw
coach
the
has been
same
under pressure.
thing.
We wanted to do it for the coach, you know.
Yep.
But every player, not just Siya Kolisi.
Correct.
Every player, so that you can see the buy-in that he's got.
Yeah.
And that trust element, you know, so that's an incredible, powerful thing to have. But Twickenham, like I said, full to the rafters. What a good game of rugby, though.
Great game.
Plenty of tries scored. I don't think South Africa probably wanted it to be, looking for a word, expansive. Even though they're playing expansive rugby, I don't think they wanted to allow Argentina to be able to sort of throw the ball around as much as what they did. Defensively, they just gave them a bit of room. Look at the Colby one where the ball bounced, you know, that got Argentina back in the game. Then they got the late one to only lose by 2. You really just felt when they started to flex their muscles, like, how good was Malcolm Marx? You know, he was incredible, 2 tries and his work around the field. I think they've probably, that's a game where they could say, and this is with the greatest respect to Argentina, who really turned up, and that was great because it made it occasion. They probably had another gear in them, South Africa, if they really needed to
try 2,
you know, change it up to 5th or 6th. You know, they could have gone again.
Look, for me, take the Argentinian versus Australia, particularly in that second game where they won. 2 tries, actually, both games, actually. There was 4 tries scored off first phase of scrum. Like, I think, and I said this in a pod a couple of weeks ago, so I think the Pumas, if their scrum is, stable and they get good channel 1 ball, they're arguably the best first phase, like, off scrum backline plays. Like, their backline, they've scored, like, 4 times. Like, and I thought when that was taken away from them on the weekend, like, so very quickly, mate, you know how I like my scrum, right? Like, so the Boks, they had, they were peppering their line just before halftime. They had penalty after penalty and then another penalty. It's when the halfback scored, actually. I keep stuffing his name up. What is it? Reinek, right? When Reinek scored.
Yeah.
See, if he didn't actually pick it up off the back of the scrum, the Pumas would have lost a guy to the yellow card because one of the props. Because they'd already had, this was their 3rd penalty and it was an advantage.
Oh, it was momentum penalties.
Yeah, correct.
For the same infringement.
For the same infringement, back to the scrum. Mate, the very first scrum, the Boks, mate, again, the old high-fiving Jesus, man, their front row, man, they were up and they were on roller skates. No, they were on roller skates, man. They were back in the 70s, like doing this one, like on roller skates. They were just going backwards 100 miles an hour. Second scrum, same thing. Luckily enough, they got the ball out. Like, I watched every single scrum down to the detail and just watching that Thomas the Toy. Wow.
Yeah.
What an animal. So when you take that away from a side that uses that platform to be able to score majority of their tries, then it instantly, right? Like, you'll put your best foot forward to win the game. Secondly, with the Boks, I thought, they had more advantages in the second half. They had penalty. I think the 50th, the 56th, and the 60th minute. They again had scrum penalties to advantage, but then they would run backline plays and end up taking the advantage. So then it never went back to the scrum infringement.
Great.
Well, no, correct, right? But someone should have been sin-binned. Like, for me, because
it's constant infringement.
Because you're constantly infringing, mate. So
really, if they weren't, what you're saying is if they weren't getting that advantage,
correct.
The referee's constantly going back to make the game a stop-start affair to go back to scrum penalty,
mate.
But by putting someone in the bin,
correct. They should have been penalised, mate. They should have been penalised, but the referee never did it. So this is the amazing thing about the Boks too, right? Like, from a set piece point of view. Malcolm Marks, his tries came off the back of lineouts. And actually, when that player, that Vivas, the loose head prop, when he put that shot on Esterbet on that shoulder, right, he then got sin-binned for 10. I was actually quite surprised the Boks didn't take a scrum because, firstly, you take a back rower off, right, and they got to bring on another prop. And then, secondly, they would have probably pushed them all the way. They were 25 metres out. They probably would have. Got a push over try, to be honest. No, just how strong they were, mate. Like, so, I found it strange they didn't do that. They went for the corner. Yes, Malcolm Marks scored, but from a tactical point of view, but
I have to say, mate. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to lob a grenade.
Oh, lob one in.
Here we go.
Here we go. This better be good.
Is Siya Kolisi the greatest captain ever?
No.
In World Rugby. Back-to-back World Cups. Springboks basically are either 1 or 2 in the world. Consistently selected.
Oh, he's in the conversation. 100%. He's in the conversation.
Mate, he just, I just love his manner as well. Like he
leads from the front too, man. He's one of those players that you'll follow. He's obviously inspirational. And can play the game. And is quite happy too as a captain to go off, mate, in the 50th. He goes off as well, right? Because who wouldn't want to bring on a Quagga Smith? How is that guy never starting a game? No, I'm with you. No. Okay, let's look at some of the greats.
To do back-to-back World Cups, you've got to have longevity. So you've got to consistently be selected. You've got to command your jersey.
Correct.
And what is a competitive back row, man? Like, their back row... For Siya to be able to maintain his jersey, captain the side,
correct,
and basically has I don't know what his winning ratio is, but it must be really, really high.
Over the 90s, must be.
No, it won't be over the 90s.
No?
No, definitely not.
As captain.
Are you questioning Rain Man?
Gosh, you've really thrown doubt.
Hold on. No, he could be right. He could be right because I didn't bring my abacus with me. So he could be right.
let's not compare necessarily with other captains, but let's talk about how great a captain he is and what he does that makes him a great captain.
No, mate, you have to compare with.
Well,
other
you won't solve it, and we'll be here all day. Yeah. Because I remember one thing. I can't remember who the kicker was, but it was during the World Cup. It always sticks with me. Siya Kolisi was in a press conference, and they were questioning. It might have been who was goal kicking for the World Cup. This might be just a doubt. It was someone before that, and he wasn't kicking his goals. Yeah, Lebok. That's right.
You're welcome.
That's right. Thanks, Marshy. And the question wasn't even directed at him, and he stepped up and answered the question and just said Lebok. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember it better than me?
No.
He stepped up and said Lebok does all these other things on the field. Yes, he might not have kicked the goals on the weekend, but we all have different jobs, and when you add all those jobs together, there's a sum to those jobs. And yes, he might have missed a couple of kicks, but he does all these other things that are great, and all these other people do all these other things that are great that all contribute to the overall performance. So you can't just highlight one area of his game and say that cost us the game or that wasn't good enough. It's an overall package that contributes to what a team becomes and gets from their performance.
Yeah, no, great words. No. Look,
I don't even know if he said that. I might have just said that.
No, look, great words. Look, over my 10 years, we used to have we were very lucky
the Wallabies.
To have some great, World Cup winner. We're lucky to have such amazing sports people come and talk to us, like the Steve Waugh, Michael Voss, who did a three-peat with AFL, Shane Warne.
Old mate the pilot.
One of the greats ever, man.
Oh, the guy that escaped the World War II camp.
No, but in terms of sports people...
He brought that out at the weekend at the lunch again.
Did you?
One of his favourite stories, apart from
obviously... That's a great story.
Every title that the Brumbies has won that comes out.
Did it?
And my Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, that's right.
Don't mind that story.
We're talking... you don't want to know.
No, we're talking Titanic Leonardo too. Very good looking.
A very good looking young
Leonardo. Look, I'll tell you one day, Andy, where I was better looking than where a girl that I was seeing turned down Leonardo DiCaprio for me. But anyway...
was her name Candy?
Anyway, look, this Kolisi, as in a great captain. I think you nailed it, Marshy. First of all, as a captain, you have to be first selected, right? You have to retain your spot. And so I love that too. Sorry, finish it off with the sports people. They always said, just do your job. Don't want you to be Superman. To win big games, we only expect all the players just to do their job. And that's what I love about Kolisi, and what he said there was he might have just stuffed up in this one part, but he did everything else in his job. Right? So that's first and foremost. But I think, again, with every captain I've ever played, like the John Eales, and I played on John Eales and George Gregan. And the very first thing always was them being selected.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You've got to hold your position.
And obviously our New Zealand fans out there, which we have many of, and the passionate ones, will definitely throw McCaw in there, because now that I've just caught myself, because I said back-to-back World Cups, Siya Kolisi, so did McCaw.
Yeah, correct.
2011, 2015, Annie had to...
We had back-to-back World Cup finals. We had back-to-back World Cup finals. That doesn't count.
Didn't McCaw win 100 tests as captain or something?
Did he?
I mean, who's counting, but yeah.
Did he?
That's significant.
Yeah, have you done some homework this week? Because you're actually coming out with some reasonably solid stats.
I'm on fire, aren't I?
Actually,
I'm making shit up.
Factual stats or not, but your confidence levels are high. Ever since giving Rabs a spray, I think it's been good for you, because you kind of just, you've got this new, your chest is out, you've got some new, some real mojo about you.
That one line has just sparked you right up. Yeah. Hey, but let's go back to our boy Sasha. Mate.
But how good?
Oh no, well, we'll come to Sasha, because we're going to do should we do the Rugby Championship team? Let's do that, because
this is going to cause some debate.
Yeah, because we've got, this will take a bit of time as well, because we want to we want you two to name the Rugby Championship team of the tournament, or tournament team. You're going to take the forwards, JP, and Marshy going to take the back. Should we start up front?
Yep. So loose head for me, Tamati Williams. that performance. Like I see him as 100 tests like potential player. Like for the All Blacks, mate. When I was very lucky to play against Oz Durant, like one of the greatest loosehead props of all time.
So did I. I wouldn't call it luck though.
No man,
and you had to scrum against him. What's lucky about that?
To share a field with someone like that, man, was like I'll never forget Oz Durant '99 World Cup. Like I was 22 when we won it. We were all in this, because the third and fourth they got to come, right, Springboks. Obviously us with the French, and we're all on the sauce, and then the front rowers are at the back at the bar, and so this 22-year-old come walking up. Yeah, I was drinking like this one, and Oz Durant comes straight up to me and rips my shirt, because they were all ripping shirts for some reason.
Oh, was they ripping the pocket? Off
Yeah,
the shirt?
they're ripping the pocket.
Yeah, if they get the pocket real good, it ripped your
They ripped my whole shirt, and I was just like, because I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, sure. I was like,
what else are you going to do when it's Oz Durant, mate? You're not going to go, I'm going to knock you out. You're not that's not happening.
Mate, 6 foot 5.
Thanks for that, mate.
6'5", huge human being, man. Like, oh, look, no, and a gorgeous man off the field too. Like, just, yeah, I think Tamati Williams has that potential, purely because of the size and the way that he played around the field. I thought, look, honourable mentions. Almost went with Vivas, like from Argentina, but I just thought those last 2 games just didn't keep that consistency what he did in those first 4 games, man. And look, and then getting Simbin and that, yeah, I just thought, unfortunately, dropped off. And Angus Bell, I thought he was incredible, man, and coming off the bench, I thought he really took that impact role or that finisher role. So hooker, I thought Billy Pollard. I got to go with Billy Pollard because I thought consistency and where this kid has come to. I see again him being a huge future. Like his mobility around the field, I thought his set piece is excellent. Like, did struggle a little bit with the line, but conditions. But scrummaging wise, excellent.
So if you had the choice of any hooker in the Rugby Championship, you'd pick.
I picked Billy Pollard.
Well, that was his role, yeah. So he doesn't think Cody Taylor and doesn't think Malcolm.
No, look, no, great, no.
It's your shout, mate.
100%, man. Cody. Well, let's just wait till we fucking hear your backs, mate.
Yeah.
So we, like, you got Cody Taylor, mate, nucleus, right? Like he's that spine. Thought he really showed his leadership. Malcolm Marks, like, absolute incredible stalwart again. But I just feel Billy Pollard. Where he can get to and like picking aside, good scrummager as well. So, and my tight head is Thomas Dutoy. Like, he's a fucking animal. Like he's just, mate, what he did to scrums, like, because you have him on your feet, like your tight head, right? To me, selection, your first point is your tight head. Like your tight is always your first guy, and he would be picked in my first team every single time. Like the future this guy has is just. Wow. Second row, look, I thought Estebet was just, mate, the most capped Springbok. What a presence. Like, and that's why I went with him and Will Skilton in the second row, because I think you got 2 of the biggest presents in world rugby. And what a tight 5. I think it's the biggest tight 5 I think I've ever seen. I think we're tipping 650 kilos in our tight 5. Because I sort of picked this forward pack to play against someone like the Lions, for example, who is also made up of, 4
But you're also picking on the form that they showed during the Rugby Championship.
No, correct. And what they could potentially do, though, too, within a side. Look, yes, Will Skilton got... And that was another big point the Wallabies lost as well, was because he obviously went off with a HIA and didn't return. Like I thought missing him was also a massive factor because what he also does, same as Estebet, is he makes players come with him.
Yeah, and he wouldn't get off the field. He wouldn't be sent off injured because Tamati Williams is on his side on this again.
Mate, hey, look, you know what, man? It was a good shot. Like at the end of the day, it happens, right? Like, but Big Will, man, like he's stepped to a new level. He's brought that that European Cup final type of form into Test rugby finally, and like I just think he will be a dominant force hopefully for us for at least another couple more years. Back row.
Oh, here we go. Look, here we go.
Honourable mentions.
Why are you blushing?
Honourable mentions to Crema and to Gonzalez. Like, look, incredible for the Pumas. Like Crema, I think, made 33 tackles against the Wallabies in one game, right? Like, but I can't go past, like, the toy. like, come on, man.
Peter Steele.
PS, dude.
All right.
He,
Fair.
wow.
We'll give you that.
Like, wow again. Like, wow. Fraser McWright at 7.
Oh, what a surprise.
Are you kidding me?
Well, blow me down.
Nah, Fraser, look, you keep going, kid. I just love everything.
He's playing good
about
rugby.
him. He's
He's
unbelievable.
playing good rugby.
Like he's the best pilfer in the world, like, right?
Yep,
Like,
yep. I
with
wouldn't
Absolute pest.
well,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
yeah, no.
Take umbrage with
No.
that particular part of his game. He's probably close to the best in the world.
He's
if not the best.
he's pretty sharp, man, and kept us in the game so many times, man. And then obviously number 8, Artie Sevilla. Like like in the Rugby Championships, the fantasy league highest point scorer, I believe. Like it just wow. Like this guy can't. Can you go any higher? Like with his level, like he's just like I thought honourable mentions again. Tom Hooper. I thought he was again very good. I thought in the second row too. Sorry, like that Fabian Holland. Like I think you guys got yourselves a good young second rower there, man. Like who I think will develop into a very good player. I thought Tupivai. Thought he didn't live up to what he did last year. I thought he was excellent last year, and maybe that's a little bit from that second year blues. You know how you always see it, man, with rookies, right? Like their second year. So look, some real honourable mentions. But if
Jesper Visa, you're gonna.
Hey,
what about Jesper Visa? He's been.
Oh no, again, man. Like again, yes, yeah. Quagga Smith. Like my God, like how's he a Kolisi? Sorry, like how again you can't. Yeah, you just can't put them into those 3 spots, right? Like I just see these 3 guys, and when you talk about balance too, like those 3 guys in the back row, I think it's that you couldn't get any more balanced.
I quite like the way you've moved Artie Sevilla from 7 because he played the entire Rugby Championship at 7.
No, he didn't, mate.
And
Not
just
the
in fact, the
no, he
French
didn't.
series as well.
No, mate.
Just to make room for your
mate,
boyfriend.
To make room for Fraser
Duplessis,
McWright.
mate, Duplessis played in the first game, like over in
No, he
Argentina.
didn't.
Like or the second game. Like mate, he started at 7. Like and Artie Sevilla, and constantly he got moved back. But yes, I do believe Artie Sevilla's best position is 7. But when I'm going to name my championship forward pack, like I've got to fucking move him. Because I'm not leaving Fraser McWright out. Like,
Guilty.
There you go.
Guilty.
There you go.
That's all we wanted to hear, mate. That's all we wanted to hear.
That's all
I
he
love
had
you,
to say.
Fraser. I love you, bro.
That's all he had to say. Right, okay, the back line.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, halfback was quite a difficult
Yeah,
one.
how are you going to
because-
maximise the platform that Rain Man's given you with his championship?
fine.
Oh my
forward
God,
pack.
you're going forward
I'm
all
just
day,
going
every
on-
day, mate.
I'm going on form, and I'm going on again what I believe would be the back line that, if you were putting it out there, would be the most dangerous given consistent form throughout the Rugby Championship. So halfback was a difficult one because obviously Cam Roygaard, he is so very good, but he only played 2 games, and they kept him pretty quiet. The Wallabies in Perth, so he only had one other performance to go off. More consistently, Kobus Reinach, I think, he got, the more game time he gets, the better he becomes, and he's just dangerous with ball in hand, good running game, good kicking game, good defender, and he's consistent. So I had him at 9. 10, again, there's players that have flitted in and out of the jersey, really.
It's a weird position, isn't it?
Karedes goes from 10 to 15 for Argentina.
Yeah,
the
weird
Wallabies
one.
have had their injury problems. People would see right through me if I put Rabs straight in there. So.
I was going to say, no Rabs.
JP would have.
Exactly.
No, I wouldn't have. Only
So,
Fraser.
and then obviously Bowden Barrett, he's been injured as well. So, I had to go for Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu.
Fair.
Like he's just, even against the All Blacks at Wellington where he had to go off, even in that time that he put on the field, I just saw how dangerous he could be. And then his performances since have been sensational. So
37
he's my
points.
10. So 9-10 is a combination that South Africa have got, and they know each other well. 12, I went for Chocobates from Argentina.
I love that shout.
I just feel he...
Token?
No, he's not a token. He's
Mate.
No. So what? Geordie Barrett, no good, right?
Yeah, Geordie Barrett would be
Would be.
He's right there, Geordie Barrett. Just super consistent, playing really, really well. But Chocobares is just world class. He's world class.
Chocobares has been unreal.
Yeah, mate.
And I think about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago on the pod, I said conclusively, and people will know this because they're regular listeners, he's the best 12 in the world.
So no Lenny Kittel, no Delandi.
No.
Okay.
So there's my 12.
Sure.
Centre, Joseph Akuso Su'ali.
You're finally making sense.
So I just feel that, again, he's been the most consistent centre pick throughout the Rugby Championship. Super dangerous. And I just feel that he's only going to get better and better and better and more dangerous and more dangerous. Cheslin Colby, I just feel this guy's got
Imagine
everything.
if you left him out.
Oh,
Imagine if you didn't
He's
name
just
him.
got everything in his game, you know. His ability, his speed, his ability to smack people that are twice the size of him defensively.
High ball.
In the air, incredible. And finishing prowess like nothing else. He's just world class. So Cheslin Colby, that was pretty easy. And this is where there's going to be a little bit of contention because at this stage I haven't got an All Black and I'm not token, so I'm not doing token stuff. And so at the moment these are all being picked on justifiably being the best in their jerseys consistently over the Rugby Championship.
Here we go.
Will Jordan played quite a bit of rugby on the wing.
So you've moved the fullback to the winger, so Artie Sevilla from 7 to 8.
No, because he's played a few games on the wing, Will Jordan, probably more there than what he played at fullback. So Cheslin Colby and Will Jordan on the wing, how good would that be though?
I don't think you should be letting Marshy off the hook for this.
Is that how you're going to justify this?
Anyway, so there's my two wingers. And Damien Willems is my fullback.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, far out. Like him and Mgomazulu together. Like when you got him coming in from fullback and pulling the trigger as a second or first receiver with Mgomazulu in the balance. And I just feel that the way that he plays, I love the way that he plays. He's just super dangerous. So
What about Carreras?
that's my back line. Carreras, like I said, he shifted between 10 and 15. Massively consistent. There's heaps of worthy, notable mentions that need to go in there.
Oh, Leroy
But
Carter.
Leroy Carter. But when you've got to pick it, you've got to pick it.
Yeah,
and
correct.
I picked it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my starting back line.
Look,
Good
I would have
Thanks.
thought if Tom Wright didn't get injured, particularly
sure.
that first game at Ellis Park, right? Like he was, he was outstanding.
Yeah.
Will
Yeah.
Jordan.
I also think that if Quintupai had been playing number 13 for the
13.
whole tournament, he'd be in there
Well,
in front
how
of
the fuck
Joseph
Geordie
Akuso
Barrett's not in there? I got no idea. Arguably, I thought he was actually one of the All Blacks' best players over 6 games. Absolutely diffused every high ball. But anyway,
That's why you played in the front row.
Oh, no, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It does feel like we've made a lot. I love and I'm excited about the Springbok tour. Don't get me wrong, but it does feel like we've finally got to a point where the Rugby Championship is on a par with competitiveness. Any team can beat any team as the Six Nations, and we are potentially unraveling all of that.
Yeah, hang on. But what I love, I understand where you're coming from and I get it. But as Rain Man will tell you, as a player, and you've got a lot of these players that are within all of these teams that have played a lot of rugby and they've played a shitload of rugby championships, you know? And whilst it's great for the Southern Hemisphere and we have got this competition, what is refreshing for a player is when something new gets thrown at you as an international rugby player. And it's like, man, I haven't done that before. You know, this is new. I haven't played in that venue before.
What about Argentina, though?
Because it gets you out of bed. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. And
Feel for them.
But you've got then that leaves it in their ballpark to be creative. You know, maybe have they ever played in America? You know, you've got to think outside the box and give their play. They've got a lot of players that have played a lot of rugby. You know, so I quite like this. You know, freshening up of the players and giving them something, particularly the guys that have played 10 rugby championships. You know, it's like, bang, all of a sudden we've got something that we've never seen on our radar before as a player. And it's like, man, I want to put the boots on and go do that.
But it's also not South African rugby and New Zealand's rugby's responsibility for fucking Argentinian footy. Do you know what I mean? I actually love the fact that they're actually taking care of themselves too. Because I'm sorry, the reason for the poor probably rugby championships have been Argentina and Australia. Like our performances, particularly the Wallabies' performances, over a number of years have been well below the par and what's expected, man, when you're playing in the Rugby Championship. Like, because we've finally seen this because, well, no coincidence, because the Wallabies are playing fucking good, right?
Yeah.
This is it. And unfortunately, like, due to the circumstance, like I think this deal was obviously put well before the Rugby Championship and where potentially, or what we've seen from the results this year.
Yeah.
And so this deal has obviously been something they've been working towards, like probably last year, right? Like, and fair enough, man, to New Zealand rugby and South African rugby that they're looking after themselves to get ready for the 2027 Rugby World Cup.
It's historic.
Oh, no, it's brilliant.
It's amazing, yeah.
It's what rugby used to be about before the game turned professional.
Correct.
And I think the fact that we've been able to go beyond where the professional rugby started, and all of a sudden it was World Cups and Rugby Championships and whatever, and there's a real regimented rugby program that, bang, we've gone, you know what, historically the All Blacks and the Springboks have got incredibly long history of playing each other, and in those types of tours. That's what real rugby used to be
And
like.
do you know what's going to happen as well is that you're going to see it reciprocated where at some point the Springboks are going to tour New Zealand, and it's going to be just like the Wallabies, like with Australian rugby having the Lions come over,
that's exactly
and
what it's
how
like.
much money, how you guys got out of debt because of the Lions. The Springboks, we're going to do the same when we go over to, we play the provincial unions, and then the Springboks come over to New Zealand and they do the same. They'll do Australia at some point as well.
Yeah,
That's
if we continue to improve and be competitive, because also you got to deliver a product, right? Like you've got to also give this touring side these big names, man, the Springboks and the All Blacks, right? They deserve the respect that like they should be getting. And that is if they're going to come to you, like the British and Irish Lions, I suppose, like, yeah, man, we turned around a $60 million debt to be $50 million in the black. Like over 580,000 or something like tickets like were sold. Like extraordinary, mate. Extraordinary. So I see nothing but great benefits with respects to this. Obviously detrimental to Wallaby.
Well, no, because that can be replicated. Like,
oh, no, of course, mate.
You
Look,
can go
never
tour
gonna
Argentina.
Or look, mate, my first tour for the All
that's
Blacks.
going to bring the people back.
My first tour for the All Blacks was a proper tour to France and Italy. Like, how good is it touring France? Imagine going to France as a Wallaby and playing 3 test matches and playing 5 or 6 provincial games. Like,
bro,
that's next level. Or going to England and then you play 3 tests against England and you play the Bristol Bears and Saracens. And, you know, it's our version of the Lions.
Yeah.
We're not getting all our teams together, but for the players, it's like we play against their best provincial sides, their clubs, and then we play 3 hardcore test matches back to back to back.
The Wallabies would rock up to France, and France would roll out their D team, and their provincial unions would turn out with their club teams. And sorry, we're very tired. We're very tired.
No, because they're all privately owned, right? Because they want to like fill the stadiums. But again, you got to have a side that they want you to come. But mate, very quickly, like my very first tour in '97 was a development tour with the Brumbies. I just finished playing the 1997 Grand Final in Brisbane. I was a 19-year-old kid. We won it. Mad Monday on Monday. Like, it was like we'd been drinking for 3 days in the paper. I was still in my footy. I was still in my same footy kit from Sunday, right? And someone had to get me at a pub where they had to go, Eddie Jones from the Brumbies, just taking over the Brumbies coach, needs to talk to you, and you need to be at this landline by 8 o'clock at night. So I had to be at this landline. Anyway, he goes, mate, do you want to come on this tour? Going to Scotland and England, Brumbies development tour. There was 30 young kids. 11 Wallabies came from that tour.
There you go.
Yeah. It was pretty extraordinary.
How good. And
Yeah.
that would have been a good tour.
Oh my God, so old school.
You would have been pissed for it as well, coming off Mad Monday.
Mate, I was 19, mate. I was 19. So, yeah, mate, these type of tours, like I said, right, touring, being on top of each other, old school side of things, and also aiming up, man. You find the mettle of a bloke too, right? Like of showing up on a Wednesday, like you're in Bloemfontein. Like, can you imagine Bloemfontein?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I played there before. Mate, like it is tough footy, man. Like, and they'll show up. So yeah, I've got nothing but total respect for this.
So obviously, Rabs hasn't dialed in from business class.
Probably asleep.
He'll be in action this weekend for Leicester. Well, he might not be. He probably won't be. But they're is it Franklin Gardens?
100% he'll be.
Northampton.
No,
yeah.
he'll be playing this week.
Do you reckon they'll roll him out straight away?
100% because he played 2 fucking minutes in the Bledisloe, mate. Like, it's like, yeah, 100% he'll be playing.
Franklin Gardens. You know what I remember from Franklin Gardens? You know that bloody Dylan Hartley?
Yeah.
The hooker.
When I was playing one of my last games, I played there for Saris. And I remember that Dylan Hartley came through the ruck after I'd passed the ball late and landed on top of me. And he put his palm in my face and he said,
Really?
I've never seen somebody look so old on the rugby field before. That's what he said to me.
Well, good luck to Leicester this weekend. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. We're going to be back on the 28th of October to cover the Northern Tour, where the Wallabies face England, Italy, Ireland and France, and the All Blacks attempt an unofficial Grand Slam, starting with Ireland in Chicago. Thank you so much for listening or watching, and a massive thank you to our mates at Harvey Norman, who have got a huge range of next-gen AI PCs from the world's top brands, Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, Acer, and Asus, all powered by Snapdragon. Enjoy your rugby this weekend. Should have thrown it at the camera.
They would have seen it. That's a good throw, man.
That was actually fucking pretty sharp.